Talk about now is also going upwards of 20,000 kilometers an hour. And that the reusable spacecraft that are now being tested and developed allow us to do this so much quicker. And technologies that in the past that we've abandoned, if I think of back to the days of the Concorde, how many of you have ever heard or remember the Concorde? Okay, so the Concorde was an amazing piece of technology that allowed us to shorten travel time between continents that seemed very far apart. One of the key areas that we're going to see dramatic leaps and bounds going forward. Another one of Elon Musk's projects is a project called the Hyperloop. Have you, any of you heard of the Hyperloop? One hand in the back. You should be getting a prize right now. So the Hyperloop basically is something that allows us to travel in a vacuum using magnets at very, very high velocities. Again, bringing people closer together who've been logistically and geographically far apart. And again, you'll see what's been happening on the screen there. It just shows you that we actually aren't just dreaming these things up anymore, that they are actually happening. Screen there, you'll see in the top left-hand corner, there's a lady that's actually been playing around with spacesuits that they're busy testing for the first manned missions to Mars, which are going to happen in the next 3 or 4 years. And underneath that, you can see some of the future travel technologies that are being implemented and tested right now. And these are being done at small scale. And then on the top right-hand side, you'll see that there's some really serious jetpack progress that's been made and the very fast commercialization of jetpacks right now. So I just want to tell you that this is not science fiction. This is now becoming business and economic reality for us. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with what's happening in Dubai this week. Very interesting fact, this week is the first time that women in Dubai are allowed to drive cars. Did any of you know that? This is a very important step forward for humanity, that people now in Dubai who are ladies can drive cars. But just as important is that they've started testing the autonomous flight of drones. Alright, so what that basically means is that you now can climb into an Uber, or it's going to work similar to an Uber, but it's basically a drone that you climb into that will fly you wherever you want to go. We know and what we believe needs to happen in South Africa on a day-to-day basis. Right, and let me just remind you very quickly that a few short years ago, I think four years ago, when Uber wasn't available in South Africa, we had to do things very differently than we were able to do today. So that's a very practical change that we've all seen happen. Now, with all these technologies that we've seen on display today, the question is, how are we going to get ready for the adoption, the implementation, and ultimately how we are going to be able to make money out of it as people who understand that tourism is a key part of our economic growth.